Hello, it's Paul Clegg, and I thought I'd have a little bit of a catch-up with what's been happening since the last time we saw each other. Over the last week, I've been very busy with interviews. They really have taken off. People are seeing the value and the connections that they can provide. And I have put a link onto this page where if an interview is something you feel you could benefit from, then please check the link out. In addition, our social marketing hub online is gathering quite a bit of pace as we're exploring all sorts of challenges that people are having with their marketing. And this week we reviewed somebody's website, and I think I was particularly pleased about the openness of everybody and the way in which everybody was willing to support one another with some constructive suggestions that look like now they might well be implemented, because clearly you can produce a website and ask a friend, and most friends are too polite actually, or maybe don't know enough about websites to be able to make something constructive. But we were all very, very honest, and I think that that was proved to be of great benefit. But this morning I've been talking to a very good friend of mine, and we've been talking about the effects of the lockdown, how this person has coped with it, the sort of things that they've done. And it was something I suggested a little while ago, that we need to reach out to people we know. And just one of the key questions is, how's the lockdown affected you? And this particular person has enjoyed the lockdown. They've been able to be quite productive in getting a lot of things in order, and particularly preparing for what's going to happen when they're allowed to open up in, I think it's July. What it has also done is this particular person has had the time to reflect on their business and how they're going to take it forward and where that forward is to. And I think that's some of the challenges that a lot of people are asking. Some people have started to reevaluate the way in which they've been living their life of late. And I know money is in one thing, but the quality of life is also important. So it's perhaps been quite important to consider exactly what do we want that end game to look like. I think this is something that a lot of business owners don't really face early enough, because when we decide to do something for ourselves, we decide whether we want to have a business or whether we want to be self-employed, but we imagine it's still all a business, and it's not. My definition is that if you've got a business, you should, over time, be able to run that business without you being directly involved, without you being a pivotal part of it. A lot of tradespeople have that as a challenge, because their business is around their tools and their hands-on, and so they are employing themselves rather than running a business. Somebody that has several tradespeople working for them, and they have somebody managing the offices, managing the bookings, managing their invoices, and they have minimal contact. They just need to oversee that. They have got a business. And the difference between the two is that the self-employed person has no business to sell. In fact, after the lockdown, unless they get back into generating business, they don't have any business. And so these are the sort of questions that people might be asking, and I think they're very good questions to ask. I think the other thing that we covered is what's going to happen in the marketplace. One of the things that I see is more and more people are going to be involved in what we call the gig economy, because two things are going to happen to people that actually have businesses. First of all, people are going to be thinking twice about taking on the staff they used to have. As soon as furlough ends, and they've got to meet those hard costs, they will be questioning the effectiveness of everybody they employ. And so anybody that's been hanging on, they're just not going to keep those people. And secondly, and I think this is most important, some people faced with needing to take out a loan to continue will question whether that's what they want to do. Do they want to take out a loan? Do they want to put themselves back in debt for an uncertain future? So, and I think we discussed this on my conversation this morning, that there's some people that this guy knows actually are not going to start a business. They, you know, when the furlough ends, they will just close the business. And what that will mean is that a number of people that right now thinking they're going to go back to a job won't. And so they'll have to do their own thing. There won't be a readiness of jobs around, so they'll have to become self-employed or get involved in a gig economy. And I think this opens up opportunities but also difficulties. I think the other thing I've observed is so many businesses that are just not got any online presence. And I don't mean content that I'm producing. They don't have a business or any element of their business that runs online. And we discuss lots of ideas that that this particular individual could exploit or use to take part or eventually all of his business online. There are other things that people might want to consider. The upshot of this is really two things. First of all, it's very difficult to make decisions like this and to create, you can create ideas, you can get ideas from various people, but it's very difficult to put any of these things into operation without we have people around us that will support us, encourage us, question us, and more important, hold us accountable. So my thoughts are that going forward, we need to be part of an honest group of people. We need to surround ourselves with people that will provide that honesty and that support, and maybe the sort of talent and expertise that we don't naturally have ourselves. And we need to also have people around us that will provide some level of accountability. I'm going to quote from something I read the other day. And, well, actually, no, it was a seminar I went on, a webinar. It's by a guy called Tom Ziglar. Now, it's an unusual surname. His father was Zig Ziglar. He was a great motivational and speaker, particularly when it comes to sales, and died some years ago. His son now runs the business. And he was asked for some advice about what was the fastest way to success. And that was a question I don't think I could have easily answered. I know I always say we need to surround ourselves with people who will support us, and that's an absolute given and an essential. Too many people try and do things on their own. But what's the fastest way to success? His answer was quite simple. Replace bad habits with good habits. And that really did make me think. We found it very strange during the lockdown because we've had to change the way we do things. And we're going to find it equally strange and difficult to get back into the run of things because we're now used to these new habits. So what habits are you adopting or will adopt to take your business forward to wherever you want to take it? They're difficult. Habits are quite ingrained. And I think the other quote that I got from Tom, where he was quoting his father to say, the reason people don't achieve their goals is they trade what they want most for what they want now. We're very short term. We do things that have almost instant gratification. We buy stuff that we don't necessarily want or need with money we haven't got to impress people we don't care about. And I think that's some of the challenge. So the reason people don't achieve their goals is they trade what they want most for what they want now. But of course, it assumes that we know where we want to be in the next 12 months, do we want a change of direction? And if that's the case, then maybe we do need to talk to other people, and particularly people that have been that route, have been there. So I don't want to go rambling on. I hope you haven't found that a ramble. I really am just sharing some of my thoughts from today's conversation I had, which was really good, but also some of the things that I've been thinking about over the last few days. I hope you found that useful. Remember, my role is to help you get in front of more people who want to buy your stuff, so you waste a lot less time chasing people who don't. All the very best until I see you. Bye-bye.